Remove valuations, remove other items attached to it. It's a brand that every Filipino would know. Great brand recognition. Every Filipino as a consumer can buy. In the midst of the pandemic, at the start of the lockdowns, their products were one of the first that got bought. It may not perform the way you want it to be. Somewhere along the line that if you sell it, you get something that gives you value in return. Hey guys, so in this video, I want to talk about the Monde Nissin IPO. Of course, it's still very early and expect more videos about this. But I want to share and give you more details about this so that you can already start doing your research, because at the end of the day, when it comes to investing in the stock market, it's all about having the conviction. It's all about knowing what you're getting into. And I know that it's so easy to get excited, to get pumped up every time you hear IPOs like this. But I do hope that you get enough information to help you decide holistically, because at the end of the day, what will help you grow your money in the stock market is that you know what you're getting into and that you have the conviction of what you're buying, and you know also the risks that are attached to it. The Monde Nissin IPO is something that has been talked about for quite some time already. People were looking forward to it, and as you all know, lucky me, Skyflakes are placed front and center in this IPO. Just a couple of details first, then let's talk about the things that I like about it, then some numbers and details about the company as well. So if you guys have any specific questions also throughout this time leading up to the IPO, feel free to put it in the comment section below, and then we'll try to make videos on top of it. First of all, this is slated to be one of the largest IPOs in the Philippines, with around 63 billion pesos being raised. It will surpass our Robinsons Retail Holdings, which was the largest IPO prior to this one. So in this IPO, there are 3.6 billion common shares that will be sold, and then there's an over-allotment option of around 540 million shares. So for those who are new to this, there's more investors willing to put in money, invest. That's when the over-allotment option will kick in. For those who have not invested yet in the stock market, when you're buying shares of Lucky Me, it makes you a shareholder that whatever Lucky Me will do or Monde Nissin will do for the company over the next few years, as a shareholder, you are part of it. You share the success when times are good, but you will also share the possibility of risk. That's why it's nice to do a deep dive on this. So based on the latest disclosure, the maximum amount that they will sell is around 17.5 pesos. And from what we've seen in the previous IPOs, that we've seen prices adjusted lower, which allows people to buy the stock at a cheaper price. But assuming that they get to sell it at 17.5, that's what will make the IPO at 63.5 billion pesos. If you add the over-allotment option of 540 million pesos, then there's a possibility that we would see an even larger amount raised by Monde Nissin to around 72.5 billion pesos, which makes it even bigger and larger. So where is the money going? And I always tell people, no, every time you invest in an IPO, you have to also know whatever you invest in, saan nila gagamitin, what will be the use for it. And I'm gonna make a even deeper dive on it, but generally from what they disclose, it will be for capital expenditures, payments of loans, and it will also be for general corporate purposes. We're just gonna drill down on latter videos to give you a deep dive on those items. But for now, it's payment of debt, general corporate services, and capital expenditures. For those who don't know, Monde Nissin boasts of big brands such as Lucky Me, Skyflakes, Fita, Nissin, MY San, Graham Biscuits, Mamacita, and Dutch Mill. Then it also owns Corn Foods, which is a market leader in meat alternatives. I guess what Monde Nissin trades on is brand. If there's one thing that I do know, and I've been saying over and over, that brand is everything, and that's why we've been talking a lot about Nike, Starbucks, Disney, Netflix, Apple, Amazon, Tesla, because there's so many other products out there. They have so many competitors also, but as if you have an established brand. And the way you think about this stock, the way you think about this company, especially if they are selling food that's available and easy to buy by the broad market, you can make a parallel to URC, you can make a parallel to Pure Foods, you can make a parallel also to CNPF. Think about it like a brand play. Century Pacific has all of their brands, from Century Tuna to their corned beef. Then you have URC and all of their coffee and e-drinks and all of their other ready-made items, and also Pure Foods in itself is a brand. So that's how you can compare Lucky Me. But Lucky Me in itself already is a brand that we all grew up with it. And I guess what's exciting about this is it gives people a chance to buy something that they can relate with. It gives people a chance to also, oh, I eat that every day. It's something that I buy on a daily basis. Remove valuations, remove other items attached to it. This is just really a good story also. People always say that when you enter into the stock market, there will always be risk of losing money. And which is true. There will be a shot of volatility that if you don't do it properly, you get scared, you could sell at a loss, or you buy a stock that doesn't go up for years or even decades, which happens. But at the end of the day, wouldn't it be nice to be a part owner instead of just merely a consumer? Wouldn't it be nice that you get to be invested in a company that gives you a shot of making money for your future, that is a storer of value, that even it may not perform the way you want it to be, somewhere along the line that if you sell it, you get something that gives you value in return. Unlike buying stuff that you don't need, that doesn't have any value, I'd rather buy a stock. And I'm saying this because the heart and goal on why I embarked on making videos, writing books, traveling around the world to talk about investing is that Filipinos don't invest eh. And if you have a shot to be an investor into something that you grew up with, you supported, and you ate, why not also own a piece of that company? If you're hearing this for the first time, why not also position a small amount that you can tolerate, that even though it has the ability to go lower, at least you experience it already. At least you've seen it, and you could actually say that, hey, I'm a part of the success of that company. That democratizes it. It's time that all of us move as a country, not just as consumers, but also as investors. Not just as merely people who just keep on spending, but people who also want to position and make their money work hard for them. Because sayang eh, and I keep saying this all the time, we are in one of the greatest eras to be alive. And it's not just about consuming. It's also about building, creating, and putting money on the ground. It's a brand play. It's a brand that other Filipinos know. But not just that eh. Without a pandemic, in the midst of the pandemic, the Philippines still a consumption-driven economy. Their products are not so expensive. And here's what I think. In the midst of the pandemic, at the start of the lockdowns last year, their products were one of the first that got bought. Because mura, madaling ma-store, very, very recognizable. I remember eating the original flavor, then the calamansi flavor, the chili mansi flavor. So I guess one way also for you to be able to analyze this later on is look at the growth, the earnings also of the listed companies that I mentioned, compare them with those specific PEs, which we will do later. What's the possibility of growth for this company in the next few years? How are they growing organically in the Philippines? And based on what I've been seeing, they've also been growing outside the country as well. So that's why they've positioned in Minora in Australia and Corn also in the United Kingdom. So the name of the game is we have to see how big their expansion plans will be in those countries. How does that impact their growth trajectory? And then how are they growing also in the Philippines? Are they growing because they're expanding another line? Will they grow because by virtue of the population that they will just increase their market share even more? Or mainly because they are a market leader in their particular category? Please do note that in their space of dried noodles and instant soup, I think they're around 60% market leader in that particular area. And in the biscuit space, they have around 30%. So please do note also that their biscuits are household names, from Skyflakes, from Fita. These are all names that we all grew up with. Sales for 2020 went up over 5%, comparing it to 2019, was at 65.45 billion pesos, while their 2020 sales, which went up by 5%, is around 67.94%. So in the next videos, we're gonna do a deep dive also on their debt, on the cash that they have, on their EPS growth, and then is there a possibility of dividends as well? And I think it's just about time, no, that they did it. It's just about time that we get to see companies like this, branded companies that Filipinos know, enter in the markets. Expect more videos about this in the next few weeks and months. We're gonna give you more details as I start computing what would be the market cap, how will they distribute the proceeds of this IPO, then what are the other ratios that will be attached to it, what are the dates, when can you get it. Expect that in the next few videos. But just to put this to a close, this is something that is interesting because it's a brand that every Filipino would know. It's a company that has great brand recognition. It's a company that every Filipino as a consumer can buy and would know. And I think because of their price point and their base, they also have the ability to be resilient even when times are bad. What you need to look for is how predictable the earnings are. What we want to see also is how they deploy capital, how prudent they are. Then we're also gonna do a deep dive on the owner. I really haven't studied the leadership and the ownership of this company, so maybe because they're gonna go public, we're gonna see more details about it. We're gonna see more about the company also, and it gives us a good detail as well on how good it is as a long-term investment, especially for those of you who like qualitative analysis part of companies. We're gonna drill in more on the leadership and the management also of the companies as well. So there, let me know your thoughts if this is something that's worth buying for you, if you want to position into this, if you think that Monde Nissin is a company and a stock that's worth investing over the long term. This is just a very light primer, quick discussion on the latest disclosure on Monde Nissin, but I think I want to make another DDMP REIT video in the next few days, so comment also your questions about it. And so for those who also want to join us for our Zoom online technical analysis classes, the link is in the description below. We're doing one this May. And for those who want to join us also for our Stock Smarts fundamental analysis sessions, where we're gonna talk about PE ratios, EPS, debt to equity, attaching the macroeconomy into all of this, we're doing that via a live classroom session. I think it will be around the BGC or Makati area this April under the new social distancing protocols. The link is also in the description below. And if you want to know more about the videos that I do, the books that I've written, and how to invest in US markets, cryptocurrencies, and everything else in between, you can check that all in the description below. Keep on learning, keep on investing, not just because I talk about it here. Never ever buy a stock, particularly Monde Nissin. Also, just because I talk about it here, it's your money, it's your responsibility. Please take the time to do your own research on it, to have the conviction on whether it's something that fits you or not, because at the end of the day, the whole reason this channel exists is that I want to give you a chance to learn more about investing so that you can have the confidence and the conviction to trade the markets with confidence, because I really believe that if it's done right, the stock market can make your money grow properly also. But it's not get rich quick. It's something that you deploy capital, plant it in the ground, and let time make your money work hard for you. And here's the thing, I know most of you are in your 20s, 30s, and 40s, and if you're in the prime of your years, better use that time to help you grow your money. Better use that time to help you grow that base instead of spending it on things that don't matter. So things like this matter. Investing in IPOs that could help you later on matter. So that's it for now. Marvin Gurmo. I hope this video helps you trade well, trade strong, trade smart. See you all again soon, and God bless you all.